Now, Auto-Lite and its 60,000 dealers and service stations present Suspense.
Tonight, Auto-Lite brings you Mr. Ralph Edwards in Ghost Hunt, a suspense play produced and directed by Anton M. Leader.
Friends, replace worn-out narrow-gap spark plugs with a set of those new wide-gap Auto-Lite resistor spark plugs. Your motor will idle smoother, give better performance on leaner gas mixtures, actually save gas. These winning benefits are all made possible by a newly developed Auto-Lite 10,000-ohm resistor, built right into every Auto-Lite resistor spark plug, making practical a wider spark gap setting, and that's what does the trick. What's more, Auto-Lite resistor spark plugs with this exclusive Auto-Lite resistor have greatly increased electrode life and cut down on radio and television interference. So, folks, see your Auto-Lite dealer and have him replace old, worn-out, narrow-gap spark plugs with a set of the new Auto-Lite resistor spark plugs. Remember, you're always right with Auto-Lite.
And also remember, the Auto-Lite Suspense show is now on television.
Every Tuesday night in many parts of the country.
And now, Auto-Lite presents Ralph Edwards in a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Yeah, didn't that leave you high, huh? Left me feeling treetop tall. That was Louis Armstrong's I Can't Give You Anything But Love. And that's all we have time for on the Hot and Mellow Hour tonight. Yes, this is Smiley Smith, your favorite disc jockey. I hope booting the Hot and Mellow Hour home for this evening. I'll be back again tomorrow night, minus the music, but with a little surprise for you. Tomorrow night, Friday night, as you know, is stunt night here at station WXP, and have I got a stunt for you. Last week, if you remember, I planted my wire recorder in the steam room at a lady's Turkish bath and let you listen in on the playback, remember? Well, tonight, as soon as I leave the studio, do you know where I'm going? Your friend Smiley is going to spend the night in a haunted house on a spook hunt. You heard me, a spook hunt in a haunted house. I'm bringing my little old wire recorder along with me, and if you tune in tomorrow evening at this time, you'll learn what it's like to spend a night in a haunted house. Ain't that something? Yeah, a real haunted house. No kidding. 4 people are known to have committed suicide there. So tune in tomorrow night and share a real thrill with your old pal Smiley, I must be crazy, Smith. Good night.
Care for a cigar, Mr. Thorpe? I got some cigars in the dash there.
No.
Well, no reason for you to carry a chip on your shoulder, Mr. Thorpe.
Oh, really? Well, I don't like this fool stunt.
Well, I don't see it as a fool stunt at all. I really don't. I think it's the only way you're going to unload this house. Ordinary selling methods won't work in a case like this. Now, don't forget the reputation saddling this house. 4 suicides since 1939. You know what people call it. The death trap.
Yes. It's a lot of nonsense.
Sure, but try to convince people of that. Anyway, when this disc jockey offered me this chance to kill all the rumors about about the property, I just naturally jumped and took him up at it, especially since it don't cost a cent.
You sure about that? I'm not liable for a penny.
Not a cent. We're doing him a favor letting him use the place, he said. Thanked me for the chance last night when I drove him out here. So one hand washes the other, as the feller says. He got a chance to pull off a stunt, and the wire recording will prove the people the property's A number 1, and we increase the chance of selling the place.
Well, as long as it doesn't cost me anything.
Not a cent. He's using his own recorder, and I'm paying for the rental of a couple of walkie-talkies he hooked up to it.
Well, what about this, Reed? Does he charge anything?
He comes gratis, too. Dr. Reed is, whatchamacallit, a psychic investigator. Belongs to a couple of societies that do nothing but hunt ghosts. He showed me articles he's written about it in their magazine. Well, here's the house. Yeah, looks real nice in the sunshine, don't it? Yeah, man, smell that sea breeze.
You don't have to sell me. Well, let them know we're here.
Yeah, probably asleep up all night and everything.
Why don't they come out? Do you think they've gone?
Well, I told them last night I'd pick them up around 11. Smith! Smith! Hey, Smiley! Dr. Reed! Yeah, fast asleep, I guess. We better go in and wake him up.
Of course, they may have taken the bus back to town.
No. It's a 2-mile hike to the main highway. Smith! Hey, Smiley. Where are you? Wake up.
You don't suppose, do you?
Oh, no. Smith. Dr. Reed.
What's that clicking noise from in there?
Well, it's his wire recorder. He left it running. These machines cost a lot of money. Doesn't he care if he uses up his batteries?
Well, where is he, and where's this Reed?
Maybe they're upstairs. Smith? Hey, anybody home?
They must have walked to the highway and taken the bus.
Well, he wouldn't have left these machines.
Well, where are they, then? Where are they?
Now, don't get excited, Mr. Thorpe.
Don't tell me not to get excited. If something's happened to them in my house, I'm liable.
Well, you try this side. I'll try that.
All right.
Smith. Hey, Smiley.
Smith. Oh. McDonald, come here.
What? Oh, no. Reed. Dr. Reed. No, don't touch him, Mr. Thorpe. You'll get your hands off. Look.
Blood. Is he dead?
I can still feel his pulse. We better get him to hospital fast. Care for a cigar, Mr. Thorpe?
No, thanks.
Well, why not try to relax? The nurse said Reed would be all right as soon as he's had a blood transfusion.
You told the radio station to be sure and call us as soon as they had any word about Smith?
Yes, I told him. Why don't you sit down?
No, I'm all at 6s and 7s. What do you suppose happened out there last night?
We're going to know in just a second, just as soon as I can get this recorder set up.
You don't suppose Smith and Reed got into a fight, do you?
Yeah, there. Huh? A fight? I don't know.
Well, what's wrong? Won't it work?
Yeah, it works. Take it easy.
1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
There.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. All set, Dr. Reed? Mr. McDonald, hey? Okay, here we go. This is Smiley Smith speaking. Smiley Smith, the ghost hunter. I don't know whether to hope this will turn out to be a success for the sake of the program or a failure for my own sake. Anyway, all the preparations have been made now, and it's up to the spooks. I better tell you where we are. Right now, we're standing on the lawn of a house about 12 miles above Malibu Beach. The ocean is 100 feet away, straight down. The house is perched on a cliff, and there's a sheer drop of about 100 feet right into the old Pacific. Maybe you can hear the surf pounding. I'll turn up the volume. Hear it? Now, I'm going to have you meet 2 gentlemen who are here with me. Incidentally, we're the only people around for miles and miles. First, I'd like you to meet Dr. Clarence Reed of the British and American Psychical Research Guild. Dr. Reed is a famous investigator of psychic phenomena, and I'm very honored to be associated with him on this ghost hunt. He's smiling in an embarrassed sort of way.
You're much too kind, Mr. Smith.
Dr. Reed has conducted experiments in this field with such great believers in spiritualism as Oliver Lodge and Arthur Conan Doyle. He looks a bit like Santa Claus. He's short, stocky. You don't object, do you, Dr. Reed?
No, indeed.
And he has a magnificent white beard, a truly great beaver. Dr. Reed is so enthusiastic about ghost hunting that he got out of a sick bed this evening to be with us.
Excuse me. My lungs. Mm-hmm. I was gassed in the First World War.
Yeah. Anyway, Dr. Reed and I are here on the lawn looking at the house. Can't see much. It's around, 11 p.m. now. Seems to be a rambling sort of house, 2 stories high. Since it was built, there have been 4 suicides here. Is that right?
That's right.
Now, into the mic, please.
Oh, yeah. 4 suicides since 1939.
I better tell them who you are so they won't think you're a ghost. Standing with the doc and me is a real estate agent, Mr. Charles McDonald. He handles this property, and he can tell you a lot more about it than I can.
Well, the house was built by a man named Marcus, Toby Marcus, an orange grower. Built the house as a wedding present for his wife. A month after they moved in, she took her own life. On the day of her funeral, he committed suicide the same way. There have been 2 other cases since then, and
Did they all jump into the ocean?
Yeah, all 4 of them, right over there.
Well.
The last one was actually seen doing it, about 3 years ago. He was seen running like all get out the edge of the cliff, and he was shouting and laughing and yelling as though there was people at his side running right along with him.
You kidding?
No, it's fact. He was laughing and yelling and running, and when he got to the edge, right over there, he jumped and never came above water.
As good an argument against coal baths as ever I've heard.
Since then, people just refuse to live in this house. Silly, I call it. Anyway, if you and Dr. Reed find any sign of a spook, I'll advise the owner to pull the house down and rebuild. But if you don't find anything, I'm hoping this will convince folks that here's a real buy. Yeah, okay, Mr. Smith, you and the doctor are on your own. I'll be by in the morning to pick you up around 11.
Goodbye, Mr. McDonald. I hope there's something left for you to pick up in the morning. Well, it's almost pitch black, folks, and I guess Dr. Reed and I ought to begin. I don't believe in ghosts, never have, but what I say is this. If you're dead set on looking for them, this is a dandy place to do it. So long! Mr. McDonald just checked out. And then there were 2. Well, 3. Oh, my dog, yeah. Folks, I have my dog, Jeff, with me. He's a wire-haired terrier, 3 years of age, and he can talk. Yeah, say hello, Jeff. Come on, Jeff, say hello. Come on. Well, anyway, he's a wire-haired terrier, and he's 3 years old. Shall we go inside now, Dr. Reed?
I was about to suggest it.
Now, how do we hunt ghosts, Doctor? How do we do it, huh?
Well, we don't really hunt them. If there should be any in the house, they will come to us.
How cozy.
And please, not ghosts. Do not refer to them as ghosts. We know them as apparitions.
I'll remember. I've no desire to hurt their feelings. Where ghosts are concerned, I say live and let live. Well, we've opened the front door now. Maybe you heard the hinge squeak a little. Now we're standing here looking in. Can't see much. Smells sort of musty and damp. What's the matter, Jeff? What's the matter, boy? Jeff. Oh, come on now, come on. My dog seems to object to entering this house. He has all 4 feet braced, and he's straining against the leash.
Perhaps he senses something we don't.
Like apparitions, maybe?
Perhaps. It's not unusual. Animals lack the veneer of sophistication we humans possess, and are more sensitive to such emanations.
Yeah, come on, Jeff. Now, stop this nonsense. He probably smells a mouse or rat or something. Come on, Jeff. We're going in whether you like it or not. Well, there's a short entrance hall, and over there at the end of it is a flight of stairs leading to the 2nd floor. Jeff! And over here at the left is what seems to be a large reception room. We're entering this large room now. There are windows over there, French windows, and through them I can see the ocean. The electricity hasn't been turned on, so all I have to see by is a flashlight. Not a very powerful one at that. Dr. Reed is now adjusting his walkie-talkie. It's hooked up to my recorder so that he can cut in while he's hunting and tell us what he's found. Here's a few words from Doc before he sets forth on his investigation through the house.
Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me. Mr. Smith has introduced me as a ghost hunter. He spoke, I think, in a spirit of skepticism and levity. I'd like to assure you all that my purposes here are serious. I have spent my entire life seeking reliable proof of the appearances of apparitions.
Have you ever seen any, ever?
I have seen phenomena which lead me to believe in the possibility of their existence, although I have never seen any. I account myself sensitive to the evidence of their existence. This house, for example, affects me profoundly. It doesn't seem to affect you in the same way.
I'm not too happy about all this, if that's what you mean.
You are not psychic, and therefore not sensitive to these matters as I am. I imagine the question in the minds of those of you listening to us is, shall we find apparitions? I don't know. But I feel they are here and that they are evil. I sense danger. I shall soon know.
Dr. Reed's leaving the room now to make a tour of the house. First thing I'm going to do is open the windows and let some fresh air in. It feels better already. Cooler anyway. I know that. Ow! A bat just flew into the room. I think it's a bat, not a bird. I didn't actually see it, just its shadow as it fanned my face. There it is again. It touched me as it passed.
Jeff, come back here. Jeff, you fool dog, come back here.
Dr. Reed? Dr. Reed? Dr. Reed!
For Suspense, Auto-Lite is bringing you Mr. Ralph Edwards in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Hey, Harlow, snap out of it.
Huh? I'm reading a letter about the new wide gap Auto-Lite resistor spark plugs, Hap.
Oh?
It's from Mrs. Clark Perry right here in Hollywood. She says our 1948 station wagon has given constant trouble. Finally, the garage man said all the difficulty was spark plugs, and he installed a set of Auto-Lite resistor spark plugs. Now the car runs beautifully. The very first time my husband has been really pleased.
Well, smart garage man.
Smart people to take his advice. Hap, you know, as more and more people learn about wide gap Auto-Lite resistor spark plugs and how they make an engine idle smoother, give better performance on leaner gas mixtures, actually save on gas, why then more people will replace old, worn-out, narrow gap spark plugs with sensational new wide gap Auto-Lite resistor spark plugs.
Any more letters like that, Harlow?
Plenty, Hap, plenty. Why, here's another one from New York City.
Read it to me later, Harlow. We haven't time because here's Suspense.
And now, Auto-Lite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Ralph Edwards as Smiley Smith in Ghost Hunt, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Jeff, come back here. Jeff, you fool dog, come back here.
Dr. Reed? Dr. Reed? Dr. Reed!
Reed speaking. What is it, Smith?
Jeff has run off. My dog, he jumped through the window and ran off.
Oh, so? I told you he sensed something about this house, didn't I?
Yeah, you want to come and see if you can determine what it was exactly that set him off?
Soon. I am making my way slowly up the stairs toward the second floor now. I'm halfway up. I'll be down with you soon.
Folks, my dog's run away. You probably heard him howling. He jumped through the window and took off. Never did anything like that before. Frightened by the bat, I guess. Personally, alone here in this big room, I can understand how he must have felt. This isn't a cheerful spot by any means. I may not be psychic, but I sure have a feeling this house doesn't want us here.
Read again. Excuse me. I have something of great interest to report. I'm now standing in an alcove on the second floor trying to recover my breath. As I reached the head of the stairs, I felt what I think is a definite psychic manifestation. I felt suddenly as though I had been punched in the solar plexus. That's the only way I can describe it. At the same time, I began to perspire. My head is still swimming slightly, and I have difficulty in swallowing. My pulse rate is around 110 in a minute. The sense of evil is very strong. I feel very, what shall I say, profoundly depressed.
Do you want me up there?
No, I prefer to remain up here alone. The presence of a disbeliever such as you might interfere with my investigation.
Folks, I'd like you to get a picture of what it's like here. It's very quiet, for one thing. I've never been in such a quiet place, and it's pretty dark. No light except my flashlight. Tell you what, you go now and douse all the lights you have on. Go ahead, put out the lights, and that'll give you a clearer feeling of how it is here with me. Go ahead, put out the lights. Hey, did you hear that? Real estate agent told me I'd probably hear rats and mice in the walls. Well, I can certainly hear them now. Even you can hear them, I think. It's as though...
Dr. Reed speaking. I've been working my way toward the front room, the one directly above the one in which Mr. Smith is now. The vibrations have become stronger and more pronounced as I approach it. I think I am on the verge of an important discovery.
Important discovery, did you get that? Now I can hear Dr. Reed moving about in the room above. I don't suppose you can. Have a try anyway, huh? Hear him? I hope he finishes his investigation soon, because, quite frankly, I'd like to get out of here. I can well imagine people becoming unhinged in this place. Right now, I find myself pretty jumpy. Not being very brave, am I? It's being alone in this room down here that does it. This darned old house. It's a very, the atmosphere. It's so very...
I wish only to make this hurried report before continuing with the investigation in this room. I have carefully sounded out all the parts in this room, and the emanations are most strong from what appears to be a closet, before which I am now standing. As soon as I open the door to this closet, I will have, I think, a thing of great interest to communicate. I find no key to the lock, and so I will attempt to remove the hinges with my penknife, and I will tell you what I find when I open it.
I'll tell you what it would cost to get me to open that door. In the basement at Fort... There's that bat again. It seems to like me the way it keeps... Each time it passes, it touches my face or my neck with its wings. Smelly things, bats. I don't suppose they bathe very often, if at all. I wonder how... Get away, you bat! That bat'll be the death of me. Yeah, it's like a jingle, isn't it? Bat'll be the death of me, the death of me, the death of me, bat'll be the death of me. It isn't far from London. No, that isn't the way it goes. It's come down to Q in lilac time, in lilac time, in lilac time. Come down to Q in lilac time. It isn't far... I haven't thought of that since I was a kid in grammar school. Gee, I had a lonely childhood when you come right down to it. That's my affair, isn't it? Yes, it is. It most certainly is.
I have succeeded in removing the hinges to the door, and I find inside it is not a closet, but much larger. It is, I think, a dressing room. I have not yet been inside, but I am about to enter.
What was I talking about? Bats. Well, the bat flying back and forth in this room. Did you hear that? Did you hear it? Dr. Reed must have knocked something over in the dressing room. A chair, a heavy chair by the sound of it. The chair, or whatever it was, must have fallen right over my head. That's the way it sounded. I can see a small stain forming right on the ceiling, right over my head. Something ran across my foot just a rat, I think it was. I've always hated rats. Most people do, of course. That stain up there bothers me. It's gotten so big so soon. I think I'll take a chance and bother Reed and ask him what it is. Dr. Reed. Reed, can you hear me? Are you all right? Hello? Well, he didn't answer. I think he's just a little bit deaf. I think so. What do you suppose he's found, huh? I'm afraid this is rather dull for you listeners. I'm not finding it so, of course. There. I heard him cough. Did you hear that cough? Hope he's all right. He got out of a sick bed to come here this evening, you know. He was gassed in the First World War, and this place is beginning to get on my nerves a wee bit. Just a teensy-weensy bit.
Reed, speaking.
Hello? He switched off. That's the bad cough he's got. I feel so lonely. I've been alone so much in my life. Not so much now, of course, but when I was younger, I was alone so much of the time. You know, struggling to get ahead, living in a hall bedroom, wondering where my next meal is coming from. I get the blues just remembering it. Seem sad, young people having to spend so much time alone. Sad for old people, too, of course. I'm saying of course a lot. Of course I am. Hey, that stain on the ceiling, it's grown amazingly. It's actually beginning to drip. Form bubbles. They'll start dropping soon. Colored bubbles, they seem to be. Odd-shaped stain, like a body lying on its back with its arms stretched out. It's cheerful. Oh. I'll certainly advise Mr. McDonald to have this place pulled down. I'll go upstairs in a minute or two to see how Dr. Reed's making out. You know, listeners, I really believe I'd go completely crazy if I had to stay here much longer. Wears you down. That's exactly what it does. It wears you down. It's so close and musty in here. I feel sort of trapped. Don't know why I said that. That's what they call this place, you know, the death trap. There, what did I tell you? That stain started to drip drops. Drip drops. Drip drops. Drip drops. Drip. I'll catch the next one in my hand and let you... Reed! Dr. Reed! I'm going upstairs now, listeners. I'm afraid something has happened to Dr. Reed. I'm not kidding now. This is on the level. Which room could it be now? Right? No, right. This is it, I think. Oh, evening, gentlemen. And madam? I'm so glad to see you. I was just aching to see somebody. Anybody. I've been so lonely down there. What have you done with the doctor, huh? I know he's been hurt. See the color of the bubble on my hand? What have you done with him? Make way, please, gentlemen. Make way. Well, this isn't the funniest darn thing. This can't be Dr. Reed lying here. He didn't have a red beard. Now, don't crowd me, gentlemen. Don't crowd me, please. Huh? You want me to go where with you? You want me to do what? Speak up, gentlemen. To the cliffs. Down to the cliffs? You mean right now? well, all right, if you'll come with me. I don't want to be alone anymore. You will come with me? All of you? All four of you? You too, ma'am? Oh, good. Come on, then. To the cliffs. To the cliffs. To the cliffs. To the...
He jumped over the cliff. He jumped over the cliff. MacDonald, he jumped over...
Mr. MacDonald, Mr. Thorpe, you may come in to see Dr. Reed now.
What? Uh-huh.
Dr. Reed is conscious. You may see him now.
Is he able to talk?
Just for a few minutes. In here.
Come in. Come in, gentlemen.
How are you, Dr. Reed?
We've been waiting to see you.
Yes, and I must apologize, gentlemen. I had a most unfortunate accident. Hemorrhage.
Hemorrhage?
Yes. My lungs, you know. Now, gentlemen.
Hemorrhage? Dr. Reed, what happened in that house? What happened to Smith? We've just been listening to a playback of the recordings you made out there.
Smith? Well, isn't he with you?
We've just heard the recording, Dr. Reed. Smith jumped over the cliff. Into the ocean.
Oh, that poor boy.
Dr. Reed, will you please tell us what happened? From what we heard on the recording, there were ghosts in that house.
Ghosts? I didn't see any ghosts.
But Smith, what about him?
If he went over the cliff, it was fear that drove him over.
But,
gentlemen, I didn't see any ghosts. As for that unfortunate young man, who can say now what he saw or thought he saw?
Thank you, Ralph Edwards, for displaying your versatility by appearing as guest star on Suspense.
Say, Harlow, that Edwards does everything.
Hap, no does. Don't use that word on our Auto-Lite show.
Oh, come now, Harlow. I can make you use that word, as you call it.
How?
Now, don't you say that Auto-Lite resistor spark plugs make your car engine idle smoother?
Yes, but...
And your car gives better performance on leaner gas mixtures. Saves gas.
Sure does. I mean, does.
Aren't we devils?
Ralph, you tricked me. Well, anyhow, it does my heart good to tell people that Auto-Lite resistor spark plugs are ignition engineered by Auto-Lite, which makes more than 400 products for cars, trucks, airplanes, and boats in 28 plants from coast to coast. Auto-Lite also makes complete electrical systems for many makes of America's finest cars. Batteries, spark plugs, generators, starting motors, spark plug wire, battery cable, coils, distributors. All ignition engineered to fit together perfectly, work together perfectly because they're a perfect team. The lifeline of your car. So, folks, don't accept electrical parts that are supposed to be as good. Remember, you're right with Auto-Lite.
And now here again is Ralph Edwards.
I want to thank Tony Leader and his great cast of actors for helping to make my appearance on Suspense a very pleasant consequence. Like all of you, I'm a great Suspense fan, and I'm looking forward to next week when radio's outstanding theater of thrills brings you Joseph Cotton in The Day I Died, another gripping study in
Suspense.
Tonight's Suspense play was adapted for radio by Walter Newman from an original story by H.R. Wakefield with music composed by Lucien Moraweck and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The entire production was under the direction of Anton M. Leader. Make it a point to listen next Thursday to Suspense.
Radio's outstanding theater of thrills. Remember, next Thursday, same time, here's Joseph Cotton
In The Day I Died.
You can buy Auto-Lite resistor spark plugs, Auto-Lite stay-full batteries, Auto-Lite electrical parts at your neighborhood Auto-Lite dealers. Switch to Auto-Lite. Good night.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
Mutual Broadcasting System presents Quiet, Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper and which features Ernest Chappell. Quiet, Please for tonight is called There Are Shadows Here.
Look at my hands. Trembling like a leaf. And there's nothing I can do to stop it either. Well, if you've been through what I've been through. Last Wednesday, I come into Tim's bar. I sit down on a stool. I say, I'll have a Scotch mist, Patty.
Oh, hiya, Woody.
Scotch mist, Patty.
Scotch mist. Hey, there's a lady in here looking for you.
Lady?
Yeah. What kind of scotch?
Got any Glenlivet?
No. Just White Horse, and that's 69. Maybe there's a little left in the Hague bottle. Yeah. A lady looking for you.
Who was she?
I don't know. I never seen her. Tim told me about her.
When was she here, Patty?
A while ago.
Well, what'd she want?
I don't know. He was just looking for you. Scotch mist.
Well, didn't she say what she wanted?
Just wanted you. Is that stuff good?
Yeah, it's all right. Why?
I was just wondering. I never tasted it.
Don't you ever take a drink, Patty?
Me? Oh, I never take a drink. Except ginger beer. You can't get that anymore.
That's so?
Comes in little stone jugs. Crocks, like.
Funny about that woman.
Yeah, I sure used to like ginger beer. I think Tim said her name was Esther.
Esther? I don't know any Esther.
Esther, Hester, Lester. Something like that.
Esther, huh?
Yeah. Esther, Hester, Lester. I don't know.
Well, if she was good looking.
Tim didn't know.
What?
Tim said he didn't see her face, see? You don't know her, huh?
Well, I don't think so. It's funny.
Dames. You want another of them things?
Yeah, I'll have another.
Oh, sure wish I could get some ginger beer. Used to drink it up in Canada. Marlborough Hotel in Winnipeg. Drink it with a quart.
I wonder who could have been.
Who?
The woman that was looking for me.
Oh, I don't know. Scotch mist.
Yeah, thanks. Esther, huh?
Yeah, that's what Tim said.
I don't know any Esther.
Well, she knows you. Woody, she says. That's your name, ain't it?
Sure.
I could give her your phone number.
No, don't do that.
Okay.
If she comes in again, tell her to leave her phone number. I could call her up.
Yeah. I'll tell Tim.
Hey.
Huh?
How come Tim didn't see her face, Patty?
Oh, it's always dark in here. Always shadows in here.
Oh.
Shadows set you nuts sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Good thing I don't drink nothing but ginger beer. Even if I could get it. You drink, and these here shadows set you nuts.
Yeah, it is dark in here.
Oh, that Tim. Look at them shadows, Woody. That there one in the corner by the cannibal's head. Don't it look like the cannibal's head is making faces at you? Look now.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks funny.
I'm in here all alone. It pretty near sets me nuts. Here, there's one there by the second booth, you see? Looks like a big black cat.
You got a terrific imagination, Patty.
There's one under the bar here.
Huh?
Every time I stoop down to pick up a beer glass, I jump. Looks like a hand reaching out for me. Makes me jump.
Hell, I'll say it's a good thing you don't drink.
Nothing but ginger beer. I go nuts.
Well, I'm going to get out of here before I go nuts, too.
Okay. $1.30.
And a dime for you, Patty.
Oh, much obliged. If she comes in again, I'll tell her you was here. Shadows. Every place you go, there's shadows.
When did I say that was? Last Wednesday. The things that can happen in less than a week. Look at my hands. I can't stop shaking. Patty and his shadows. I said to myself, I'm not going to Tim's anymore. There's a bar in the hotel where I can drink my Scotch mist and not have him mumbling in my ear all the time. I got to thinking about shadows, though, myself. I was sitting in the Italian place waiting for my lasagna and stuff and wondering if I should order a bottle of wine. There was a candle on the table. There was a little draft in the room. The flame was jumping up and down. And the shadows on the wall. Doesn't take much imagination to see things in shadows, does it? Game everybody plays. You want a little bit of advice, though, friend? Don't do it. Huh? Oh, I'll tell you. First thing I found myself making shadows on the wall with my hands. A rabbit, old man waggling his beard. Owl. You know how you get fascinated with that kind of stuff? The waiter must have thought I was crazy. I know he did when I jumped up and knocked the table over with all the dishes on it.
Hey, what's the matter with you, mister? You sick?
What made that shadow?
What a shadow. I see you making with the hands from the shadows on the wall.
I didn't make that shadow.
What a shadow you talk.
There was the shadow of a woman there.
Oh, you talk crazy, mister. There wasn't been no woman here for 2 weeks. Not since Esther got mad and quit.
Esther? Who's she?
She's a waitress here the last week, and she quit. The boss say he's not going to have no woman in this place and never, especially not Esther.
I ordered the bottle of wine and I drank it. Because I'm telling you, I did see the shadow of a woman's head on the wall next to me. And I'm also telling you I didn't have anything to do with it. All right, think whatever you want to. I tell you I saw it. And Esther, too. Now, what do you think of that, my friend? Well, let me go on. I went home. I went to bed. Sure, of course I dreamed about shadows. What'd you expect? Well, I live in a hotel, as I said, all by myself in a little room on the 8th floor. I didn't think I was going to get to sleep, but I did. I read a while. I left the light on in the bathroom. Didn't go for the dark, you see. I woke up in the middle of the night, thirsty from all that wine I drank. I started to get up and go to the bathroom for a drink of water. As I sat up in bed, see, there was a square of light on the wall opposite my bed from the bathroom light. And right in the middle of that patch of light, there was a shadow. The shadow of a woman, just standing there. Not doing anything, just standing there. I was scared. And the darndest thought come into my mind, scared as I was. I didn't get out of bed at first. I just sat there and I said, Esther? And there wasn't any answer. And I tried it again. Esther? Yes. Ever feel your hair actually stand on end? Well, it does all right. Mine did. And I managed to speak again. I said, "What do you want, Esther?"
Will you come with me?
And the shadow sort of stretched out its arms to me in a gesture that was like a little girl. And yet it wasn't. It was, I don't know how to say it, like someone who was in love with me, someone that I loved. I can't explain it. I got up and threw my robe around me, and I walked toward the light. The shadow moved, too. It moved toward the door of the room, the door that leads out into the hall. The shadow's hands touched the doorknob. I looked to see who it was that was casting the shadow. And I tell you, I was alone in that room. Yes, sir, I was alone in the room. I turned back to the door just as the shadow seemed to kind of melt into the wood, and then seemed to go on through the locked door. And I reached for the door and opened it. The shadow was moving down the hall toward the stairway beyond the elevators, and there wasn't a soul in the hallway. I tell you, there wasn't. The hall's brightly lighted, and all there was this woman's shadow gliding away from me along the wall. I stood there with my mouth hanging open. Just as the shadow reached the end of the hall, it stopped and put out its arms again.
Will you come with me?
And I slammed the door shut, turned all the other lights in my room off, and I stuck my head under the cold shower. I was scared to death. And you know what? There was a smell of perfume in the room. Russia leather. I remember it from a girl I used to know in New York that always used it. And believe me, brother, I haven't got any Russia leather perfume in my room. But I smelled it. Plain. Well, all right. Maybe somebody's playing tricks on me. But if you can tell me how to play that one, brother, I'll put in with you. Listen, I was riding down in the elevator the next morning with Frankie, the wise kid that runs the car. You know what he did? Listen.
Hey, Woody.
Huh?
You stink swell.
What?
Perfume. I didn't know that about you.
What are you talking about?
Sure smells expensive. Where'd you get it?
You trying to kid me, Frankie?
Oh, goodness, no.
And I could smell it myself then. Russia leather. Well? I don't know why I ever go to Tim's. It's dark in there, and Patty... Well, you know Patty. Yeah, he gets you down mumbling... Always mumbling about the shadows. And that's where I first heard about Esther, too. It's a depressing place. So...
Got your miss, Woody?
Yeah.
I don't see why you drink these things. We had some ginger beer now. But you can't get it. Why do you drink these things?
I like them.
Tim says your girl was in here again today.
Who?
This Esther, whatever her name is. She was in, Tim says.
When?
Today. She asked for you.
What did you tell her?
I didn't tell her anything. It was Tim that seen her. Or, rather, he didn't see her.
Why didn't he see her?
The shadows. You know.
Yeah. You didn't see her face to face then?
Just kind of like a shadow.
I see. What'd she want?
You, he said. She said. Wanted you to go someplace with her.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know. You, want another Scotch, miss?
Yeah, I guess so. Patty.
Sir?
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
Oh.
Scotch me. Sure, you work around a place like this as long as I have. You believe in anything. These here shadows. There was a fellow murdered here once when it was his feet. A fellow hit a fellow with a chair.
Yeah?
Yeah. If you see over there on the end of the back bar, that's one leg of the chair. Tim always likes to keep these here souvenirs. I don't care much about them.
Yeah, I shouldn't think you would.
No, them things is haunted, see? Boy, you ought to be here sometimes late at night when I'm alone.
Why?
The things that happen. Right. Give me the willies.
What things, Patty?
Oh, shadows and things. Scare you right out of your year's growth. You know what, for instance?
What?
These here shadows, Woody. Nothing worse than a shadow.
You're telling me.
Unless it's not a shadow.
What do you mean?
Well, there's people that don't have no shadow, see?
You know what I think, Patty?
What?
I think either you or me is crazy.
Huh. Then maybe it's both of us. What makes you think so?
Talking this way.
Yeah? What are you scared of?
It says I'm scared.
What's your hands trembling for that way?
Well, I drink too much.
It ain't that kind of trembles, Woody.
It is, too.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
Don't look now.
What?
Right behind you. Take it easy now. There's a shadow on the wall behind you, Woody.
Cut it out.
There's a shadow of a woman on the wall right behind you, Woody. And there ain't nothing that's making that shadow.
A woman?
Yeah. A woman looking right at you. Go ahead. Turn around and look.
And I turned around slowly on my stool. I looked at the wall where Patty was pointing. I looked hard. Patty, you're crazy. Isn't any shadow there?
There's two.
There is not. I'll go show you. There, you see? My overcoat here on the bench.
Where's that perfume all come from?
Hello, Frankie.
Hiya, Woody. Hard day at the office?
Yeah, not especially.
Oh, you just look kind of peaked.
Well, I feel all right.
You in love, maybe?
What?
Who was the babe looking for you?
Babe. Looking for me?
Yeah, a little while ago.
I don't know any babes, Frankie. What's she look like?
Don't kid me, Woody.
I'm not, I tell you.
Hey, Florence. Hey, Florence.
Listen, Frankie.
Yeah?
Listen, there is a woman that's been looking for me. I don't know who she is.
You in a jam?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see her, Woody, honest. I was just closing the door to run up to the 12th to pick up the old guy with the teeth, you know. And I saw her just a second. She asked you, and the old guy was punching the buzzer, you know how he does, and all I saw was a kind of a shadow, see?
A shadow?
Yeah, kind of, you know. Hey!
What?
That perfume I was kidding you about this morning.
Well?
She had some of it on, too. Does that make you think of anybody?
Yes, Frankie. Yes, it does make me think of somebody. Much obliged, Frankie.
Huh?
Who is it?
Me, Patty. Is that you, Woody?
What are you doing here, Patty?
I come to visit you.
Well, come in.
Hey, has she been here, Woody?
Who?
You know who I mean, this Esther, whoever she is.
She was here.
You see her?
No.
Good.
Patty, what is this?
It's ascending.
Of what?
Ascending, like they used to have in the old country. My grandpa used to tell me about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She's after you. She's come to get you. Now listen. Did she ask you to come with her?
Yes, she did. Last night.
Oh, man.
How do you know so much about all this, Patty?
I know a lot of things you ain't got any idea I know. My grandpa was born with a caul.
What?
A caul. A thing on his head. Look, I know what I'm talking about, Woody. I'm going to make her go away.
Now, Patty, listen.
No, you listen. I know what I'm talking about.
Is she a real woman?
She is a shadow.
Patty, if you're playing a dirty trick
Woody,
on me...
I was never more serious in my life.
Well, what are we going to do?
You watch, and you do just like I say.
Well,
turn off the lights.
Patty...
Turn off the lights.
Well,
go on.
And I turned off the lights in the room, feeling like another idiot. Patty and I sat down in the darkness to wait. And we waited. And waited. And at last I heard a noise. A faint, strange, uncanny noise. I whispered, Patty. There was no other sound. And it was fully 5 minutes before I realized that the sound that had set my hair stand on end again was Patty snoring. And so I got up and turned the lights on again and kicked Patty out and went to bed. Well, maybe I dreamed it, maybe I didn't. But somewhere in the darkness, I heard the sound of someone stirring in my room. And a voice.
Woody. Woody. Come with me.
And I awoke. And the scent of her perfume was heavy in the room. That would be last Thursday, wouldn't it? Well, the next night I came straight home and Patty was in my room waiting.
I tell you, Woody, you're in danger.
And so we sat late again, Patty with a curious collection of books and implements that he said would get rid of the sending for once and all. But there was no sending. Patty stayed all night with me, and we heard no sound, saw no shadows, smelled no perfume. But there was dust on the shelf of my bathroom. And when morning came, Patty showed me something scrawled in the dust by a finger. A woman's finger, if I'm any judge. It was just one word. A name. Esther. Maybe Patty did that himself, maybe not. I didn't know what he was up to. I can't get away from the fact that there is someone named Esther who wants to see me, whose shadow I have seen, whose voice I have heard. Someone who leaves the scent of Russia leather behind her, who scrawls her name in the dust. In the dust. That's curious, isn't it? Dust. Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. Now, Patty and I sit again in the dark waiting. This time I know something's going to happen. Patty says you send her back where she came from. Send her back alone.
It can be done, Woody. All you have to know is the secrets like my grandpa knew. And they've got all this stuff right here. Only thing is, maybe she knows. And she won't come whilst I'm here.
Yeah, we see, Patty, but I'm telling you something that better happen. Yeah, I'm about at the end of my string.
If she comes, she'll go, Woody.
I hope so.
Yes, sir. Shadows is terrible things. And the only other thing that's worse is for a man not to have a shadow.
Well, how could that be?
How could there be a shadow without anything for it to be a shadow of?
Yes.
Quiet.
It's late. It's past midnight, I think, and I'm so sleepy I can hardly keep my eyes open. Patty. Are you awake?
Yeah.
And the little light from the bathroom casts its square of light on the green wall alongside the dresser. And I can just Barely hear the traffic in the street below. A night owl taxi. Somebody yelling a goodbye to a belated friend and...
Be still, Woody. What? Looky at the wall.
And I look at the wall. And there is a shadow in the square of light on the green wall alongside the dresser. And there is a tang of Russia leather in the air. And the shadow stretches out its arms to me. And I find myself getting up from my chair. And the shadowy arms are about to take me. And I hear Patty muttering something, and he seems so far away. And the arms are still reaching for me. Suddenly there's Patty's voice again, loud, real in the room.
Turn on the lights.
Of course I'll turn the lights on, Patty. And I do turn on the lights, and it's just a room again. And the shadow is still there. The arms are still reaching out for me, and the shadow starts towards the door. And suddenly, Patty screams again.
Woody, your shadow's gone.
And so my shadow is gone. So it is. And I follow the other shadow, Esther's shadow, to the door. And I open the door. And I follow the shadow out into the hall and down the hall. And it seems so odd to be walking along in the light and there's no shadow for me. And the elevator door is open. And I walk in, and the shadow glides in ahead of me. And there's a woman standing there at the back of the elevator. The shadow just seems to melt into her figure. And I look at her and I say, Esther? She looks back at me as if she never saw me in her whole life. The elevator jerks suddenly. It starts to plunge faster and faster down the shaft. She turns horrified eyes to me and she screams. And I know the sending is completed. And Esther and I are done with shadows forever.
Quiet Please for Tonight was called There Are Shadows Here. It was written and directed by Willis Cooper. The man who spoke to you was Ernest Chappell.
And Alan Sparrow was Esther. Patty was played by Ed Latimer. The writer was Sid Cassell. And Frank Thomas was Frankie. As usual, music for Quiet Please is played by Albert Berman. Now, word from our good friend, Phil Cooper.
Nobody living or dead was even hinted at in tonight's Quiet Please story. I thought up the characters in the story without any outside stimulus at all. Next week's Quiet Please will be called Gem of Purest Ray.
And so, until next week at the same time, I am quietly yours, Ernest Chappell.
Quiet Please comes to you from New York. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.